I'm gonna get back to that story, Sonny. Just, just you listen to Boomer, Great One. He's gonna tell you about how it was back in the olden days, back before fire, back when we walked uphill for everything. In fact, we didn't even have a concept of downhill because there was no downhill. Everything was uphill. We thought that was normal. We didn't even have a word for it because there was no alternative. It was uphill all the time. You just need to reach down and grab yourselves by your bootstraps and pull yourselves up, Sonny. Because when I was your age, I bought a house for $25,000. And I made that money on my paper route and bussing tables at the local cafe. And if I could do it, you can do it too. You just need to reach down and pull yourself up and just buckle up there, buckaroo. God, I hate boomers.
So Shark Toast, he paid for 2 originals, and I have his channel linked below. So please subscribe to him. He does music and documentaries on sharks. What? Yeah, check it out. And he's got a really calm. When you're done with the shock, OMG, destroyed, Disney Bank. When you're done with the fucking bullshit on your YouTube feed, check out Shark Toss's channel. Like, dude, that's a different discussion. Let's get to this so I can save my voice. Because Cappy, I'm not sick. My throat is shut. That's all. Vince was too rough with me. So this one had been mulling around in my mind. The only thing that prevented me from doing it was I didn't sit down. Like, ideas came through it. And when you look at it, I've always wondered whether you're an immigrant or an American or whatever, you come to whatever country you are, or you're in whatever country you are. And I've never understood why everyone drills holes in the Titanic, right? Titanic's got enough problems. You come on some boat, some kind of ship, and it seems a lot of people just want to start drilling holes in the hull because it short-term benefits them, but then it comes at the long-term costs and consequences of their lives and the children's lives. And what's already happening now is called inflation, but that's boring. That's economics. We don't care about that. You soon will. Soon will. So it's kind of along those lines where, look, we're all in this together. Why are anyone, men and women, and a lot of these lists do not just apply to women, it applies to men as well. Why are you voting against the country you're in? Right? I understand you may not like whatever, Donald Trump. You may not like a lot of Republicans and Democrats, but like getting to critique Donald Trump, right? Where's the balanced budget? Like, that's in everyone's interest. Where's the balanced budget? But girls in particular, in the relation to men and some men as well, you guys just vote for the worst fucking policies, either because you're greedy, short-sighted, or you don't care, or you hate the country. When I'm like, if you hate the country, leave. I got my life raft. You have fun. Let's drill more holes. We just need more holes in the Titanic. New York, yeah, your problem is you didn't vote left enough. Now you got an American hating, white hating. Is he racist? I don't know. I guess at some level he is. An actual communist who thinks at the municipal level he's going to provide you free food. Okay. All right. Let me know when there's more shit in the streets. So in that vein, I had to sit and think why. I can understand youth naivete. This is why the voting age should be increased to 30. But why do women seem to like vote against their men and the country, right? I can see laziness and sloth. You vote against the long-term health of the country, but they also seem to vote against their men. So I came up with a list. There might be other reasons. Some of this list also applies to men as well. Let's go through it because it might be confusing you. Like, why, frankly, why do our women hate us and vote against us? All right, so let's go on. All right, first, They were told to. All right. You were all told to be Democrats in school. That's not a hyperbole. That's not an oversimplification. That's what it was. You were told to be Democrats in school. I mean, K through college. And I'm sorry, socialism, whether it's the Democrats or the Labor Party, whatever, it's anti success. It's anti whatever country it's in because it's a policy and the politics of parasitism. We are entitled to free shit and we don't want to work. Give us free. We're entitled to free. That's not how the real world works. The real world doesn't just make you food or provide you housing. It's so tiring. Not even as an economist, but someone with an IQ above 70 and third grade logic. Hey, if everyone gets free shit, then who's going to? You'll find out in New York when you elect your new shiny DEI communist hire. But that's one reason women and men vote against the country is they were told to do so in school. Related, now we got the two religions that are largely instilled in you in school. Okay. The first one is popular. Okay. The reason women vote against their men and their country is because it is also the popular thing to do. And you don't want to not be popular, right? Oh my God, Becky doesn't like you. And again, men and women are guilty of this because you guys are like, bro, 6 figs, bro. I'm in private equity, bro. I got my house in the suburbs with my trophy, bro. She rides my dick, bro. No, she's riding someone else's dick. And it's all to be popular. No one leaves middle school, man. And this is kind of a hat tip. The teachers brainwash you, indoctrinate you along with the corporation so that you're enslaved to the corporation. So you buy this shit on debt, helping out the banks too. Again, not a Democrat over here, but I look at him like, wow, you want to be popular, don't you, bro? I mean, I think on the opposite side of it would be freedom, right? You don't want to be free, bro. Dude, you need shit. You need stuff. Just like you did in middle school, except when you're 42, you tack on a couple more zeros. It's not a $200 pair of sneakers. It's a $2 million house with mortgage and all that other shit. But women especially want to be popular. And right now, the popular thing is this right now. This has happened in my day. The teachers would be like, oh, America is just a hegemonistic or hegemony. Hegemonistic. I think that's the word. Europe is so much, there's just so much more in life. Dude, this is in the 80s and the 90s. All the girls, the Paris Club. Did you guys have a Paris Club? It was the French Club. And then all the girls would, I want to go to Paris. Shut the fuck up and get over there and sleep with a frog if you want. Gee whiz. Go find Pierre then. So it was popular. I just want to be popular. And the popular thing is to be a leftist, to be a Democrat. I care for the little people. Because on the face of it, it's not popular to like, hey, you're fat, lose weight and diet. Hey, you're eating too much chocolate, go eat the broccoli. That's not a popular position. But it's so popular. Free shit for everyone. Yay. You know, the meme was some gal with blonde hair. I think she was a singer. And I think it was a cover of a CD. And they had a bunch of black people holding her up. So the color contrast was very stark. She had a white dress on. And I think most of the black dudes were shirtless. So they're all holding her up. And it's like white girls when they, promote DEI. And they're like, she's all popular. That's what it is, popularity. But then related to that, the number one thing or number two religion and the number one way you show your obedience to being popular is you're for socialism. You're free shit. And when you think about it, let me ask you something. This is more modernly women, okay? And some guys too, but this would not so much be women in the past. But what do women today have aside from their leftist politics? What value system, what religion? They threw religion out. They mock and ridicule that. They threw away family, whatever secular religion or secular value system was that. You might say girl bossing and career might be another religion they have, right? But in as so far as they commute and pay taxes, support social. But their value system is, I want to help other people with other people's money, not mine. That's basically it. And it's a cowardice support. Like, if you want to pay your own money and you donate a lot of money to charity, okay, then I'll believe you. But they very rarely, again, this is leftist guys too. None of you Democrats, none of you Labour types, none of you socialists want to use your own money. It's almost worse than wanting free shit like food, clothing, and shelter because that keeps you alive. It's you want you want the taxpayer to pay for you to be popular. You want to take other people's money to pay for some degenerate and randos kids that they can't afford because it makes you feel good and it makes you popular. So, and that's not good. When you pay for people to have kids or they can't afford or bail people, whatever, people who are not sustainable economically at the expense of those who are sustainable, who are not parasitic. I don't mean that in a pejorative. I mean that in an economic debits credits sort of way. Oh, that's not sustainable. But who gives a shit? I want to feel good and I want the government to pay for it. And there's no government. I want to feel good about myself and I want you people to pay for it so I can feel good because I voted to take, if you'd use their own money, man, it's hilarious. So there's that. But that's really, and what else do they have? They don't have anything. They're not going to vote for the red, white, and blue. They're not going to vote for husband and children. They don't even like their own children. They outsource them to daycare all the time. They divorce their husbands 45% of the time. And then of the 55% that remains, how'd it work? 72% are miserable. They're not making happy marriages. So there's no greater God in their lives than popularity and socialism is what I'm saying. And when you're going to vote to be popular and you're going to vote for other people to pay for it, don't be surprised when they vote against not just men, but the whole country and everyone else in their nation. Because it's popular to be anti-American. We're burning the flag. We're so edgy. Going to the Paris Club. Fourth, it's the ultimate and impossible shit test. Women will want to introduce an adversarial, almost impossible, well, it is impossible in many ways, economy, culture, environment to men, where you can't pass it, and if you were to pass it, you go to jail, right? For example, they want to import a bunch of immigrants because it makes them feel good. They want men to compete. This is a shit that they will always test you. And things are so good now, we got to come up with new and more grander tests. And I've even said, you can't make your shit tests illegal to pass. What would be the solution? Well, we round up everybody and with pew-pews, we force them away. You know, we'd be polite and say, like, hey, leave or pew-pew. That's illegal. You go to jail. And that's on a nationwide topic like immigration. Let's talk individually. Daniel Penny. Yesterday, there was that video of that guy who snatched the purses, and then the one guy's like, oh my God, I'm getting out of here. And everyone, oh my God, what happened to that? There was the video of the gal who got a purse, or no. Yeah, I think the guy was attempting to rob her, the University of Chicago, and there's camera footage of it. And there's this guy just watching. And the guy's trying to steal it. And now she fought him off. The guy had a gun, so kudos to her. Oh my God, why have all the men got there? You voted for your own criminals to come in. And I will say there's some, what's it called? Not mesophilia. Hybristophilia? Is that the love of criminals? Women love bad boys. And there's nothing more bad boy than a criminal. Whether that's a minor, like maybe not a violent crime, like coming into the country illegally, or it's an actual, like, what was the guy with the tattoos who was a horrible man, but he was good looking and all the girls like sent him love letters and everything. Women like strong men and they want to test you. And a great way to test you is to let the barbarians in, see if the Roman Empire will protect them. And it's just simple. Women love seeing men fight over them. We men have no problem fighting. They make it sound like American men are pussies. And in some ways, a lot of them are. They're called Democrat men. You've made it that our lives are over. Look what happened to Daniel Penn. Really? Oh, yeah, he didn't get convicted. He got into a trial. A lot of these you girls vote for laws. You can't even shoot people in your own house. You're against guns. You defang your men. You tie their hands behind their back. And guys like, look, God, country, and pussy, right? We'll fight for a lot of stuff, but I got to stay out of jail. Basic 101, food, clothing, shelter, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You stay out of cages. And that's, we can't do that. Hey, you make it so every American male is deputized to go and arrest whatever, a bad guy, be a good Samaritan, shoot the bad guy, choke out the bad guy, come to your rescue, and we're protected. We could defend our homes, except in California, where I guess you just got to let the fucking burglar come in and have his way with your daughters and what. Maybe you women would be turned on by that. I don't know. Maybe you dream about that. But you want your men to be alpha, at least make it legal for them to be. They're not. Let's you and him fight. And they do like more competition. It's no different than corporations outsourcing to cheaper labor overseas. Like, oh, it's cheaper over here. I can make more profit. There's no allegiance to their men. They just want the best financial deal. It's like, you got to come in here and test our men. So I think there's an element of that. This is just a huge shit test. You know, like, I'll give you an example that isn't sexual. HR requiring all these college degrees. If you getting a master's, how much education we got to go through just to get an entry-level job? Well, having a white-collar profession, which is all college education, not blue-collar, but you girls won't sleep with blue-collar, so take that off the table. Look at the impossible shit test it is now to just have a living wage and support yourself, let alone to get to the six figures that women will then entertain, at least on paper, to like go form a family or sleep with you or whatever, right? I got to go to college for how long? From 5 years old to 24 for a master's degree. And then I got to go through this fucking nightmare called corporate America. And the hurdles. Then you got to throw, just dawned on me. Then you got DEI and ESG, not ESG, but DEI, where you make it legal to discriminate against men. Yes, it's for their own self-interest, but it is also a tremendous and impossible shit test. Men can't pass it. I mean, some might say, look, we got the top 1% of 1%. Fine, you found the one guy who, whatever, made it into a hedge fund in New York, makes his $250,000 a year, is jacked. And there, you got good for him. The rest of us, we don't have time for that. We're either going to go become tradesmen, minimalism, or, much thanks to your kindness, ladies, we're going to live off the welfare state and claim we have a mental disorder and get disability, which is an increasing thing. But if you want, go get my book, A World Without Men, to see the stats on that. But yeah, I would almost say there's a lack of malice. I think it's unconscious. But it's not even necessarily voting either, although I guess it's voting through policy or making decisions. But women want the absolute best men. Things are pretty good, so they got to make it extremely. Dude, you got to pay, 38% average tax, but the more you make, if you're making six figures now, you're looking at 42, 45, depending on the state you're in. And then you got to be good look. It's one huge and now impossible shit test. So you say, why are they voting? I know it sounds weird. They just want the best man. But in their means by which they filter that, it seems awfully misandrist. So that's and that's why they vote against it, and whatever policies they implement in corporate America or even in their own personal lives. So that's another reason women are against their men in country, or seemingly so. Just like everyone else, they don't want to work. This is your basic rank socialism. If you're a Democrat, you're either a naive person or you're a fucking parasite. Fuck you. That's it. You want free shit and you don't want to work for a living. That's it. I understand. Everybody's that way. We survived in the past. But that's just why they vote to take from producers and give to other. It's, again, if you voted to take from other people to give to yourself, I get it. It's worse. You're voting to take from other people to give complete randos you don't know, so you feel better about yourself. I've tried to explain this. Look, ladies, if we all, you included, if we weren't all paying 38% of our income in taxes, probably more like 42% with inflation if you factor that in, you could be a stay-at-home mom. You could live on one income. But man, I don't know how deep the claws, what would it be? Ideological clause socialism has inside, just this lock it has on your brain. I've never seen people vote against their own self-interest so much as modern day American women. I guess European women as well. If you're on welfare and okay, I understand that. That makes sense to me as an economist. But when I'm a girl boss, get my master's degree and work real hard and make my 6 figs, you just can't. And then you vote to take your own money away. I mean, really, it'd be a great question kind of outside this discussion. Ladies, what's more important to you? Enslaving yourself and others to pay for random people's kids or raising your own kids? Really, which is more important? It's a serious question. And based on voting, they'd rather raise rando people's kids, complete strangers' kids with other people's money than raise their own. Which I guess in a way is against a country because you think family, where the future citizens come from, would be of some importance. But anyway, so that's your standard left, but that applies to everyone. They don't want to work. So you're always going to have a parasitic class that votes to take other people's money because they don't want to work. That's basically it. And that's anti to whatever country you're in. There's your motherly nature. This is not malicious. This is specific to women. They want to take care of people. You've seen the meme of the middle-aged white girl that Karen, like, giving I think it was Latino bum on the street, like she was giving him money. I remember seeing a liberal white woman, or maybe not liberal, I don't know. She was white, she was a Karen, she was older, and she just bounced across the street. I can remember it was on the west side. It was Fort Apache and Sahara, because there's a Chipotle there. Atham, look it up. There's this young black kid, he's just panhandling. She couldn't float it, just bouncing like a bunny rabbit to give this guy some money. It's like, hey, how about you take care of your own? How about you take care of your husband or your kids, your grandkids, maybe? Maybe a young man like that should go work at Chipotle. Oh, she couldn't wait to give the money to this guy. A lot of that is the socialist religion, but I also think it's motherly nature. Oh my God, I want to help. Back in the day, you guys weren't around. Most of you weren't. Ethiopia, surprise, was taken over by Marxists. And guess what happened? No food. And oh yeah, they tugged at the heartstrings, and everyone kind of wanted to help out. We were kids, and their socialist teachers said, you should give money to the Ethiopians. They had us like donating shit like toothbrushes and crap. And you didn't think about, like, wouldn't it be logistically impossible? Like, how much does it cost to ship a toothbrush across the Atlantic and then across the rest of Africa? Because Ethiopia is on the east side. And then the Live Aid. Do you guys remember that cancer? Oh, let's sing a song that'll help Africa. It was to feel good. But there's a motherly nature. And they want to take care of the tribe, because if one guy or gal went down, the tribe was weaker. But I don't think they discern about, like, yeah, this is our country and this is our tribe. They just want to take care of the world. So yeah. But you also see that dog rescue, right? Some easy. A kid, whoa, I got to sit still. Dog rescue, already kind of trained, potty trained. Take care of your husband? Whoa, no. Raise your kid, not Hillary Clinton. I have to be a boss bitch. I didn't have time to make cookies. Like, I feel sorry for Chelsea. Like, obviously, your mom didn't love you as much as she loved her career or herself. But as long as they got to take care of something, and it's real easy to vote for it or to donate time, as long as it isn't like, well, you got to sit down and raise this kid. Like my buddy, he just had a daughter. She's 2 months old, and I watched, and that 2-month-old needs constant attention. The mom is there. A cat, this is why you got cat Kate takes care of itself. You don't have to worry about that. That's easy. Outsource kids to daycare. Not these ones. They love their daughter. It's a cute little thing. I was just very curious. They're 2 months old. They can't even see your face. You gotta they can hear your voice, and then there's this curiosity. And then she hasn't developed lungs yet, so all of her crying was, yeah. Oh, what is it? And you have to hold them, unless they're in the crib. And you don't just get to hold them, you got to move them. Otherwise, they get fussy. Yeah, what? She said, oh, you got to shake her. Like, what? Why? Oh, they like movement. Otherwise, I did it for 20 minutes. Thing finally fell asleep. Little brat was like, oh, and I'm like, go to sleep. You got to do that for hours. Unless you're a girl boss, you just get yourself a cat or a dog from a dog rescue. Just leave it in your apartment and then just don't walk it or anything. They want to take care of something as long as it doesn't require too much work, which then gets me to another one. Laziness. They want a mother without the actual work. And once again, voting for socialism, whichever political party it is in your country, allows them to do that. I'm caring. I'm mothering. I just outsourced it. Did you pay for it? No, I voted to have other people pay for my mothering, for the complete randos that I don't know, for the kids that aren't mine, for the people who aren't Americans, for the criminals I might want to sleep with later. Don't tell anyone that. Why don't you actually go down and work at the soup shelter? Why don't you donate your own? Whoa. Why don't you have a kid and raise your own kid? Oh, no. I'll just give the money and have someone do the work. Sorry, that's like hard. And again, here, not to be too harsh on women, men are kind of like that too. Fix my own car. Are you crazy? And you guys are implicit in it. Yes, we must outsource. I need to make a payment on our new SUV, dear. Outsource, child. So there is no investment. There's no investment in the children, the husbands, or the family. Men, it's the same thing with you. You guys let yourselves go. You get fat. You don't love your wife more than you love food, which I get. That's fine. It's a choice. Just don't be surprised when she leaves you for a guy who knows how to dick her down properly because he's in shape. And that, so, obviously laziness is not, women do not hold monopoly on laziness. But when it comes to like, why are you outsourcing everything? Why don't you invest in your actual men, your actual children? Why you help out in your own? Because it takes work. It's just easier to vote for the D in more ways than one, Yeah. Vote for the Democrats. We'll take care of the problems for you. No, you won't. I feel good. Right? They put whatever flag is popular that month, according to socialist leftist politics at the time. I'm helping because they don't want to actually go help. I mean, critique me as you might, but, and I had a profit motive as well, but also the book I wrote, The Black Man's Guide Out of Poverty, that took work. I didn't just like vote Democrat. Yeah, this will help the black people. It hasn't helped them for 70 years. I had to sit down. I had to do research. I had to talk to all my black friends. Like, okay, explain this cultural thing to me, which I don't understand. Now, yeah, I sold it, but it still took work. Let's just give them more money. Money solves everything. So that's another reason they might just seem like they're against not so much the country, but definitely their men and family. Another main one, I believe this should be in one of the top 4. Alpha widow revenge. I think well, most relationships don't work. Most relationships women accept are with men they deem alpha, the ones they wanted, because you girls aren't interested in frivolous. You want that guy. And when that guy goes and bangs a bunch of other gals or doesn't commit to you, he in your mind, he led you astray and you want revenge on him. And I absolutely do believe, well, because you girls want top men. And when enough top men shoot you down, they want their revenge. And how they get their revenge? Well, top men typically make more money. You want to tax them more. You want to bring down the system by which they make their money. Go back to the black community. Gentlemen, those of you, the gals, you guys say, fuck this, I'm out. And not exclusively, but the brothers tend to have an oligopolistic control over the passport bro movement. And they want revenge. They want blood. It's like, well, you didn't want me in the first place. How dare you leave the plantation? They want the revenge, and they will vote to make your lives more difficult. I absolutely believe that in part because hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. They absolutely want more male immigrants in here to spite you, to make it harder for you. And they're not even thinking about, hey, you import a bunch of labor. What about your rank and file guys that didn't screw you over and you wouldn't consider dating anyway, right? Young men, poor men, men who don't have skills, like entry-level jobs, starting wage. Can you stop flooding the lower labor market? It's already hard enough trying to get by on $15 an hour. Please don't make us compete at 10. They don't care. They got to get back at Chad or Tyrone or Esteban. No, what's Latino Chad? Raphael, what's Esteban? That's pretty fancy. Esteban or Raphael. I'm going to go with Esteban. He's pretty alpha. They want the revenge. And secretly, I think deep down inside, and in addition to you and him fight, I think they like it. Where, well, you throw in all the feminist indoctrination and the patriarchy and all that. All men are to blame. So how do we get back to men? We import a bunch of men that will compete against them, and we'll throw up a bunch of hurdles, and we get DEI. I guess I hadn't thought about that. I guess that expands a lot more. But I think, yes, it is alpha widow revenge. They're going to get you men in your boys club for rejecting her 25 years ago or whatever. There's just outright rank misandry. Not all. I don't believe most women hate men. I don't. I think they're indifferent. Some might want like revenge or they were scorned. I don't think that is a policy of hating people with peni, the penied people. There's some. Oh yeah, I'd say, and if you go and get my book, this book right here, A World Without Men, I got a chart because I like chart. There, turned right to it. There's the chart. Women's opinion of men in a Venn diagram. Convenient for you. I'd say 30% of women actually hate men. It's a minority, thankfully. But some of them just hate men. Let's make it as difficult for you as possible. Men tend to vote Republican or conservative or, make more money. There's a wage gap. I guess you could say there's envy in that. We're going to get you men. And if you believe in feminism, men are the enemy, the patriarchy and all that, we got to stick it to you guys. You especially throw in the violence propaganda. Men are 99.9% raisinists, and there's one behind every tree, and 3 out of every 2 women are SA'd, and men, 73% of women are kicked in the shins weekly by men randomly. Not Daniel Penny. I think there's some of that, and they maybe even perhaps like this will stick it to the men. I want to stick it to the men. That's a much more simpler explanation. And then finally, not relegated to women, there's this Jesus Savior combined with the destruction principle. Okay. And if you really want to see how old school I am, go and look up my Crusaderism video from 20 years ago, maybe. Long time ago. Everyone, I call it Jessica and Jason Christ. Jessica and Jason Christ are going to save the world. I want to change the world. Because your teachers, again, who've never worked in the real world, who get by on government welfare jobs, essentially, who don't know how the real world works, tells you, well, the world needs changing. And your dumb 15-year-old ass believes you're the vehicle. You're Jesus Christ. You're the savior of the world. Look at Greta Thunberg. Never worked a day in her life. And you're going to go out there and I'm going to make a difference. Has it dawned on you? Humankind has evolved over the millennia to maybe optimize some things, and things are working pretty damn well. Do you remember the 50s? Things were racist. Yeah, we could get rid of that part. But there was like balanced budgets. Inflation was low. People were thin and hot. Right there. We know what, through trial and error, the world was pretty optimized. Nope, we gotta change this. So what you can do is you can have relatively uncorrupt, functional, productive institutions, whether it's your government or your religious institutions or your schools or your companies even. It could be you could have GDP growth of 7% a year, standards of living increasing for everyone, life expectancy is expanding. But there's something wrong with the world, and I got to change it. Because my 23-year-old teacher told my 15-year-old dumbass that I got to change the world, and only I can do it because I'm Jessica Christ. And which leads us to the destruction principle. When you come into a pretty optimized economy and society, but you're hell-bent on changing it, what are you going to change? What needs to be rectified? Well, if there's nothing that needs to be rectified because society's been pretty optimized, you know what you do? You villainize the good institutions. We need to take this down. And that's the destruction principle. People are too lazy and egotistical, especially when they're younger, coming out of college, that instead of shutting the fuck up and becoming a plumber and providing good value to homeowners, or becoming an accountant, providing bookkeeping services to society, their ego and their laziness gets in the way, which is why you got like David Hogg, you got, what's her name? The bangable chick with the tits, but truly one of the most stupid women ever. Ocasio-Cortez. They gotta take down society. They gotta take it down. And they have no problem villainizing what is good, not was once good, is good, and turning it into evil. And it's got to be taken down. And that's the destruction principle. It's easier to destroy things than to work hard and build something up. And oftentimes to work hard and build something up, we all can't be we all can't be Bill Gates. We all can't be Elon Musk. If you're productive, the vast majority of people throughout human history have been farmers. Those were the productive people. It's not glorious. Before this, I was a security guard. I probably worked just as many hours as a security guard as being in bank. I was an analyst and an economist. These are not glorious professions. Chad is not. Throngs of women are not lined up at Chad's doorstep because he's a tax accountant, but he is productive. These vile, verminous scum are egotistical maniacs who have no problem destroying society so they can seem like a hero and make money on it. Again, not relegated to both sexes equally guilty of this. But I think that's another factor where you see a Greta Thunberg, or I guess Ocasio-Cortez. We got to fight against whatever, patriarchy. Didn't patriarchy get us the electricity and everything and high standards of living? And we got to fight against nuclear power. We got to do this. We got to do that. You're too successful. We got to spread all the money to all the world. You're white and you got a dick too. You are a colonialist. You are an oppressor. I just got here in 1975, lady. I've never been to a colony in my life, British or American, except Canada. I did go to our colony up north. Our hat. I went to our hat. America's hat. Canada. I did go to that colony. But yeah, and again, this is not specific to women. You get these psychopaths that got to change the world. And when the United States is pretty good, right? We had pretty well, relatively uncorrupt. Nope, we got to end that. And so they vote against their country, their host. And that's all I could come up with. There's no thought that goes into it. A lot of emotion, a lot of brainwashing, a lot of human nature and laziness, a lot of which equally apply to men. But if you're wondering, like, why do women seem to hate men in their country? Why did they vote against it? Why did they vote to import immigrants, legal or not? Why can't we just not have immigrants and have our wages rise and have affordable housing? Why do women seem to have a hate boner for men and vote for DEI and ESG and affirmative action? Why are they drilling holes in the Titanic? Hopefully some of the reasons I went over there explain that. Link below is a link to Shark Taw's channel. Also linked below is a link to the Book of Numbers, Analyzing the ROI in the Pursuit of Women. There. This is germane to the topic because again, women generally don't hate men, but they're not that interested in you either. They just don't like you that much. And if, they don't like you that much, they don't really consider you. They certainly don't consider the country or the finance. What percentage of women, what percentage of men look up the federal budget, right? How many, I feel good, vote D. Why are we poor? Why is there inflation and crime? Why are adult Democrats shitting in the streets? It's all feelings and emotions. But that would explain when you understand, not out of malice, not out of, we're going to strike back at the patriarchy. Out of human nature, women are not as interested in men as men are in women. They're indifferent towards you. And when you realize that men, let alone the country the men built, doesn't factor into their analysis when it comes to voting, personal choices. What's the word? Citizenship? What am I? Civics? No, I think it's citizenship. Like, what is my obligation to the country as a citizen? What would be in the best interest of the country? It doesn't dawn. It doesn't. It's just, they got their marching orders starting in kindergarten all the way through college. And the Book of Numbers, said that's again why they really don't care about. They don't hate, they just don't care. So you can understand why you don't factor in the Book of Numbers, Analyzing the ROI in the Pursuit of Women. Let's go to the super chats. Jeremy Rivera, $5. If all the immigrants were thick Latinas, petite Asian girls, or Eastern European girls, women would be taking them to Alligator, Alcatraz. Yeah, well, yes, you're correct. That as well. For, like I said before, in part because they got more guys to compete, lets you and him fight. But they're not threatened because most of the immigrants coming over are not all that attractive. Female, I mean. I'm sure there's some attractive, yeah, but they're not a threat. Well, same thing with it's kind of the same thing, just maybe reverse in terms of human flow. The passport bros, man, your women are pissed when you go overseas. Like, what do you care? You didn't want us. Jonathan Bertson, $5. I would be in favor of refugees if only they were sent to repopulate hollowed out Rust Belt centers like Detroit, St. Louis. No. We are a country. We Americans have a right to our country. We are not an economic zone, a timeshare, a community park for the globe. Now, ultimately, we're going to find out through voting whether the majority of people believe that or not. We have now, if you're being attacked, I understand a temporary refugee problem. Yeah, you're getting over here, though. But no, maybe we don't even take in refugees. No, you have a right to your own land, guys. You have a right to not have to share your wealth with the globe because the Democrat Party wants to bring in voters and bribe them with your own money. I wonder where that's going to go here, boys and girls. I vote. I know you vote Republican. Yeah, I do. Yeah, they're all the same. Well, now with the big beautiful bill going through, you're not wrong. But at least one's like, yeah, that guy's got a dick. It's a guy. No, we don't want to. We don't like people pooping on our streets. We don't like homeless people sleeping around. There's a difference. But yeah, no, go deal with your what? Why is it our problem? Right? Well, there's refugees. Sucks to be you, I guess. Sounds like a you problem. Space Cowboy, $5. The biggest issue I have with Western women's motherly nature is that it's weaponized against men to be a driving force to produce for others. Yeah. No, you're right. If women were at home taking care of kids in traditional sense, their labor would go exclusively to the family, the children, yourself, and the household. And again, I don't, above all that, I mean, tradition is the best way. I'm just telling you now. Like you don't have two fighter pilots in one plane. You have a crew that maintains the plane. You got one pilot that flies the plane. It's best if women are the crew, men are the pilots. But more important, ladies, if you want to be a pilot, go be a pilot. You want to be crew, go be crew. But you can't do both. You can't do both. And I so don't care at this point. I'm going to let the real world make it painfully clear to everyone how human nature works and how reality works. I'm done showing charts and data saying this is really in our best interest. No, really, you got to think about this. I'm arguing with people like there's no such thing as New York municipal grocery stores. There's no way you could just print off more money. I mean, you can. That doesn't solve the problem. I got to argue with people. You shouldn't be letting millions of people into the country when we are running deficits. That I got to argue with people about this. When the homeless guy who all of a sudden takes up residency next to your place, but you voted in squatting rights or squatters' rights, the guy in the subway assaults you, I don't care. I really don't. I'm not arguing with him anymore. This is what you want? Cool. Here. Drew, $2. Toxic empathy is destroying American cities. Correct. Space Cowboy, $5. Growing up in the black community, especially as a man, the only thing you can do is leave. Yeah. Every aspect of the Democrat Party permeates times 20. Yep. Whatever you do, don't do anything. Sit there, stay on your ass, and the Democrat Party will save you. I mean, what Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, what have they done? They're both, I think Jesse Jackson is in his final days. I mean, he's like not mentally there anymore. Al Sharpton is still doing his race whoring or race pimping. Whatever you do, don't do anything. Just sit there. We'll go get the white people's money. Well, won't that mean they're not doing anything and thus they're condemned to having lower performance? Like their lives are going to suck. Shut up, Whitey. Okay, never mind. I want them to get out of poverty. You need them in poverty so you get their votes. And then Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton could be rich. By the way, they're very wealthy. Space Cowboy, $5. I recently watched a video on AOC. She grew up in the whitest neighborhood. Oh, yeah, she's not maybe a trust fund baby, but she's definitely a privileged child. She fell into socialism during college. Look up Benny Johnson. I don't have to. Drew, $2. San Francisco City Council member was mad there are no police. Yeah, exactly. ZAR. What's ZAR? Zimbabwean dollar? Hang on, ZAR. ZAR to USD. Oh, South African rand. Okay, $5 nickel per buck. No, not Eco Hub, a blood oil mineral stealing war hub. What, the United? Oh, shut up. We're so here. You guys want some quick baseball? No war for no blood for oil was the big thing in the both Iraq wars. So the whole war on terror was, well, in those dollars, this is 10 years ago. I did the analysis. It's like $1.2 trillion. I looked at it like, well, what would it cost to have a synthetic oil program? It was like $850 billion. It's cheaper for us to just create synthetic oil than it was for us to go fight a war. Thanks for the 14 nickels. Thank you. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, Asshole Consulting. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.